Well, good evening, internets. This is me, DP Knudten, for another exciting edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day live stream consecutive daily journey from I should really do this to done. And what is that done? Well, it's the creation of a brand new book by January 1st, 2021. And I'm one of those people who puts off and procrastinates things that I've wanted to do for a long time. And in fact, this book that I'm writing right now, called NONFICTION BRAND, Discovering, Crafting, and Communicating the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are, has been in my head for at least 10 years, probably more like 15. And I just never, I think a little bit of imposter syndrome, a little bit of, do I really know enough to write a good book? A lot of those things caused me to kind of delay actually creating this book. Well, that all stops because I'm putting my voice out there, which is one of the major themes of the book. And I'll share a lot with you regarding that as I actually work on the book. So again, the book is called Bookward Bound, and it's all about me writing this bad boy of a book. And I'm going to do it in a piece of software called Scrivener. And it's a book writing application. You know, a lot of people try to write a book in something like Microsoft Word. And to me, that's insane because Microsoft Word is nothing but a linear file, or it could be, well, I'll do a separate file for every chapter, and that's just a real pain compared to what Scrivener does. And you can see over here, if I get my face out of the way, you can see over here the kind of list of sections that make up my book. And the blue flag means I've already written it. It may not be finally proofed or edited yet, but at least the section is fully written, at least in rough draft form. The red means I haven't written anything on it. Well, guess what? I need to change this one to a yellow because I've clearly written some on it. So I'm going to do that right now before I forget. Yellow means I've written some of it, but it's not done yet. So maybe that's what I should be working on tonight. What am I writing about? Focus on your expertise, but make sure it's based on your experience. Okay, this is a pet peeve of mine. People who regurgitate conventional wisdom, do prayer hands, and expect you to think that they're some kind of guru expert. Give me a break. Anyway, flim flam artists, there's just so much repetitive, redundant stuff out there. My non-fiction brand podcast. Special guest Matt Barnett, founder of but it's done. I don't know how Ollie met, but I do know it was when they were both 4 years old in the UK. Fast forward 20 some years later, we hire culture. Ooh, this is a quote from him, so I am going to definitely put that in italics. Yeah, leave that the way that is. Hold on, I just want to see if I'm connected to everything. I am connected to everything. Close. Hey, by the way, this is Restream.io's chat application. If you have any questions and you'd like to ask as I'm doing this live stream, go ahead and type it in the comment box. And if the heavens are aligned, the stars are aligned, and I've got everything set up correctly, your comments and questions will be able to show up in that feed there. So please go ahead and do that. I'm going to increase the size of this thing. And get back to this. All right, so do you see what he's saying there? That the endless Hired a nut. Could not be okay. Are you confident they can? That's why you need to codify your personal brand. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Map our net type. And what's that personal brand based on these or the expertise you acquired through your experience. The biggest writers ever get or give is simple. Write what you know. Write what you know. Miterly. Right on the money. To in mind to and I can prove it. Let's say you're a project manager whose employment background has always been in the architecture, engineering, contracting sector. Experience would dictate that the only things you are truly expert in are related to the design and designing thing of structures. But Bertice, these you've developed for your career spans much broader areas. Things like team building, group actions, comprehensive planning, and quite probably deep. Management, tech, oh come on, Neeks, like, and this is where I go, Scrum, Kanban, what's the difference? Agile, Scrum, concepts, like Agile, you to solely on your experience, you might find your subject matter hands tied, you might find self painted into an AEC corner. But if you broaden your sights to on the much larger topic of could increase the size not only of the subjects, the relevant might talk about, but greatly increase the size potential audience of readers, viewers, and or listeners. Okay, so I always go and/or with no space before or after. I need to look that up. It's always a good idea when you and or usage. Okay, so there, all of these are showing it as and or with no space. Great. That's always been my go-to, so I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so this paragraph to me is looking a little big. Whenever people, and this is me, generalizing with a broad brush, I think whenever people see a big paragraph like this, they instantly go, oh, too long, don't want to read. So can I do this? Let's see. That writerly advice is right on the money and applies perfectly to personal brand building too. But keep in mind, experience and expertise are two different things, and I can prove it. Let's say you're a project manager whose employment background has always been in the architecture, engineering, contracting sector. Experience would dictate that the only things you are truly expert in are related to the designing and building of structures. Not structures, but yeah, structures, buildings, and facilities. But the expertise, experience would dictate, but the expertise of subject areas. Things like, okay, yeah, see? I just took this big paragraph and was able to divide it very easily because, one, I looked at it and said, boy, that looks like a fat paragraph. And could this be one long paragraph? Maybe. But if you don't have to, why wouldn't you want to make it much more attractive to the reader? So, like I always rip on William Faulkner. If you haven't read William Faulkner, there's a reason. If you haven't read James Joyce, there's a reason. These guys are writers who are overly writerly. They're writing for other writers. They aren't writing for readers. Or they're writing for people who like to just dissect and deconstruct. And they're, William Faulkner can have a single sentence that takes up a whole paragraph of 500 words. Literally. Why would you ever want to do that? Why would you ever want to read that, especially for a book that's being written for people, in my case, who are in business and don't have a lot of time, and the little bit amount of time they have to actually do any reading, they want to crack open a book, read a little bit, get something that makes them think or gives them a tool they can begin to use right away, and put the book down and start doing it. This is not read the first page all the way to the last. This is open it up wherever, read something, get something out of it, and begin using it. That's why I love my paragraphs to be about this length. So one of the things I like about Scrivener, the account I'm doing, is it keeps a running tally of, like right here, selection, 90 words of 1,145 words total within this section, this specific section I'm working on. And here's the second part of that section. That's 88 words. So 90 plus 88, let's just call it 160 minus 2, so 158. 158 words in a paragraph is not terribly long or bad, but take a look at the rhythm that I've set up here. I've got a little bit longer paragraph to start with, but then I've got this rhythm, this tempo. It's not slavishly the same number of words per paragraph, but it's clearly paragraphed out for easy reading. Why? Because I want to keep people reading it, and I don't want to bog them down with too much in one section. This is a huge tip and makes it really much more comfortable for people to read. So, potential audience and your listeners. That's why I cut these down a little bit. So, this is a Memorial Day here in the United States of America, the day that we remember the people who've given their lives, their service, their sacrifice to the country. And I certainly salute all those people. But it's also a day of relaxing a little bit, of being with your family and appreciating the finer things in life because of the sacrifice these men and women did for all the people of our country, regardless of politics, regardless of whatever. And to that, I say amens. I salute you, and not just thank you but for your service, but thank you not for your service, but for your sacrifice. So enough about that. It's my long-winded way of saying I'm not going to write much more tonight. I feel like I've made significant progress on this book. If I go back and look, the biggest friends, all of those things, given all that, you have to ask your friends. Okay. Are you confident that Canon is where I left off? So this, I can get at least a word count. How many words did I write tonight? Not all that many. 215. Sue me. I still have plenty of days to go left in this journey of, let's see, today is episode 80. Yeah, I think it's episode 80 of 301. So I've got, what is that? 80 minus 221 left to go. 221 consecutive live streams every single day for 221 days. Yeah, I'm not going to beat myself up for not getting more than 215 words written today. I moved my book forward a little bit, feeling good about that. So I'm cool, and I'm going to say good night. But I would like to thank you for checking out BOOKWARD BOUND with me, DP Knudten of the Nonfiction Brand podcast. Oh, and by the way, today. Today's a Monday. The latest podcast episode of Nonfiction Brand came out today, and it's the second half of a conversation I had with Matt Barnett, who is the founder and CEO of Bonjoro.com, this really cool one-to-one video via email service and app. And you should check it out at Bonjoro.com. It's a cool conversation, too, with Matt, as we talk about how he got started in his business and what he really looks for when not only trying to build the brand of Bonjoro, but the culture of Bonjoro. Now, if you know me at all, you know I've got a t-shirt, unfortunately I'm not wearing it tonight, that has a slogan that I wrote and totally believe in. And that slogan is, brands say, cultures do. That's going to be in this book a little bit, because the culture book's actually going to be another book that maybe I'll write next year. But for now, let's just say that the conversation in the episode of the Nonfiction Brand podcast with Matt Barnett is all about that. the intersection between brand and culture. And also, we have a little bit of friendly disagreement. You know, we didn't get heated or anything because he doesn't want to build his personal brand, to which I say, Matt, you already did. Your personal brand is Bonjoro because when you started it, it was totally based on you. And frankly, Matt, why are you wearing that big bear suit, that big bear outfit? Well, because the mascot of Bonjoro is a bear, and he gives one of those bear outfits. It's like those pajamas with a hood on it. He gives one of those to all his new employees. So guess what, Matt? Your personal brand is your company brand, and that's a very good thing. But that's enough for me tonight. I'm going to say goodnight and say thank you for showing up and helping me continue to move my book forward, because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here, quite literally. So I'll see you next time. Theme music. Take us on out. I'll see you next time.